Welcome to our video on how to make an adapted book stand. Our client is an 18-year-old college student who has a C4 level spinal cord injury and turns pages using a mouth stick. At a C4 level spinal cord injury, the client will be wheelchair bound with limited range of motion and paralysis in the upper and lower extremities. They will have movement of their head and neck in order to use a mouth stick during certain occupations. In order to create a successful adapted book stand for the client, there are a few considerations to be made. First, it is important for the client to have a book stand that has an adjustable tilt in order to accommodate book size and weight. Since this is for a college student, the majority of his textbooks will be large and heavy. Therefore, the book stand needs to be an appropriate size and sturdy enough to hold the weight of a college textbook. An adjustable tilt is also needed to accommodate where the client is positioned and the height of the table the book stand is placed on. Being able to adjust the tilt of the book stand will allow the client to read the book at an appropriate angle and height. An adapted book stand for this client should also include a mouth stick holder for convenience. Lastly, it is important that the book stand be cosmetically appealing. As he is an 18-year-old college student, the look of the book stand should be appropriate for his age.
We are going to take you through the step-by-step process of how we created our book stand. First, we cut the bottom base to a length of 14 inches using a miter saw. Next, we cut the book base to a length of 16 inches using a miter saw. And third, we cut the wedge pieces attached to the base 1 inch wide using a miter saw. Next, we cut the board the book rests down on to a width of 2 inches using a miter saw. Then, we attach the 2-inch wide board to the book base using a drill and screws. After, we attach the book stand base to the bottom base with a door hinge by using a drill and screws. Lastly, we attached the 1-inch wide wedge pieces to the bottom base with a drill and screws. The space between each notch is 1 inch. Then, we attach the small hinge to the back of the book base using a small screwdriver. We cut a thin piece of wood to use for the stand using a miter saw. The correct length was determined through trial and error. Lastly, we attach the thin piece of wood to the small hinge using a small screwdriver.
So this is our final product. It's very sturdy, so it can be placed on any table surface or lap tray, and it will hold the weight and size of a college textbook. The mouth stick is placed on the side of the book stand to allow the client to easily take it out of the stand and place it back in. And we chose to place the holder on the right side. However, this would be client dependent and you can move the location of the holder. And you could also change the color of the mouth stick holder according to what your client prefers. So this clip shows the adjustable tilt, so depending on how the client is positioned or how much range of motion they may have, you can adjust it to different heights. So this really allows it to be client-centered, and you can adapt it to whatever the client may need.
Here is an example of how I used the adapted book stand we created. As you can see, minimal neck and head movement was required in order to retrieve the mouth stick from its holder, proving it to be appropriate for someone with a C4 spinal cord injury. I chose to prop the book stand on the second notch because it was appropriate to my height and a functional reading position.